And there we go. On time. At least I have that part down, right? I've got the on time part down. So I have that. I believe. There it goes. Okay. This thing's crazy sometimes. It said live and it had 50 minutes rolling when I got here. And I'm like, I wasn't even here. How did this happen? Welcome. How's everyone tonight? Happy Monday. Happy Fudge Day. Hope everyone had some fudge. I did actually. I had grasshopper ice cream, which was mint ice cream with fudge in it. So I did have my fudge today. And I did have caramel, the Biquette caramel, again from Costco. If you like caramel, highly recommend it. Celtic, sea salt, handmade in Montana of all places. Absolutely delicious. Telling you, Costco, who knew? Caramel. But today was National Fudge Day and National Randsanity Day because there was nothing else listed. Normally, like, days have 30 or 40 things listed. Today was one, fudge. I didn't get it, so I was like, okay. Here for the Randsanity. Hi, Don. Happy Father's Day to anyone that had Father's Day yesterday. And if you didn't, congratulations to my friend Mark Vins of Brave Wilderness, who just had his first child. He posted it yesterday, so I sent him a text. Mark's a good cat, and I'm glad to see that he's creating life and not getting stung by something at the moment. So, I don't know why I'm here. Solar Idolator. Hi, Solar Idolator. Well, you're here because you just want to be. So, like, subscribe. You can also like and subscribe to this one, Randsanity, because that, once I get 1,000, then I can start moving over there. Okay, so give me some likes, give me some subscribes, all that good stuff. And don't forget, Heinz Verified. Supposedly, there'll be an episode this Thursday, the 4th episode. Breakfast in Cleveland. Cleveland rocks. So, breakfast in Cleveland. That's what we're looking for this Thursday, Heinz Verified. I spoke to the producer today. I texted him, and I said, we need more Randy. Okay? If you're having editing problems, it's because you need more Randy. So go to Heinz Verified and say more Randy. That's what we need. We need more Randy. Okay? More Randsanity. And feed me, for God's sakes. I fell down earlier today. It was so embarrassing. I tripped over my own damn feet. I was carrying something. I took a side step, stepped on my foot, and I didn't even realize I was on the ground. No injuries. I'm happy to report, but yeah, just crashed to the ground. It was not good. I was outdoors too. Could have hit a rock, could have bumped my head. Is that an old people thing? Did you just fall down? I'm not old, I swear. Damn it. I don't want to fall down. I really don't want to deal with a hungry. No, you don't. I'm hangry. I can get so hangry. But anyway, today is National Fudge Day and National Randsanity Day. Tomorrow, we get back to the long list. It's National Mascot Day. Everyone's got crazy favorite mascots. Ohio State has Brutus, the Buckeye, a poison nut. Still don't get it. Okay. You're a dude with a nut head, so you're a poison nut. All right, don't eat them. You'll get a bellyache. And then there's also crazy mascots. I didn't go through the list because I got here late. Sorry. I just got showered and had a couple hot dogs and a burger because I was late again. I was working. I have a busy week. I'll go with that in a minute. But National Mascot Day. It's also National Cherry Tart Day. So I'll try and find a cherry tart tomorrow. It's National Apple Strudel Day. All these national food days are going to make me fat. Who knew? It's National Eat Your Vegetables Day. I can eat all the vegetables except for Brussels sprouts. We've discussed this before. Not a Brussels sprout guy. Doesn't work for me. Dad tried to chocolate coat them when I was a kid, covered them in Hershey's syrup. Said, you can't leave the table till you finish them. He found me at the table in the morning, and he said, you are one stubborn son of a bitch. Guess where I got it from, Dad? I got it from you, Dad. Breakfast Club line, okay? It's also National Root Beer Day. I can take it or leave it when it comes to root beer, unless it's really good. It is Iceland's Independence Day, and it is World Desertification or Combat Desertification and Drought Day. I stumbled on that word, desertification. Desertification. I don't know. Lucille Singer, right? So those are your days tomorrow. So participate in one of them. I don't know which. If you're a mascot, bring it. Let's go. Lauren Lee, who used to work at the station, got in the Hot Dog Wally outfit once, and she was a mascot. She also was a mascot when she worked for a AAA or for a radio station, and I think she was the AAA mascot for one of the hockey clubs. And that sounds like that would be interesting. I know she applied to be Stinger once. Did not get the job being Stinger, unfortunately. And rumor has it that Brutus Buckeye was, in fact, a woman last year. I don't know. I watched whoever Brutus was run, and I'll tell you what. They do that halftime thing where they run the full length of the field, 100 yards. Psh, I don't care. Man, Brutus cooked. Whoever was in that mascot, whew, man, they could run. I used to do the mascot. Mario, when we were in college, we knew the mascot for Ohio State. It was Mario. Mario was quite the dude, and that's it. And I knew Crew Cat. I knew who Crew Cat was, and I knew who Stinger was for the Blue Jackets. So there you go. I know mascots. Okay? That's about it. And I'll ring your bell with the Clippers, and that's, I forget, they have a, is it seal? Is it a seal? Maybe it's a seal. I think it's a seal. Clippers? Seal? Sorry, I lost that one. So, music history, my music history. Where was I? Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy in 2005 played Promo West. Buddy Guy is 88 years old, from Louisiana, virtuoso, all sorts of different instruments. Buddy Guy, always a good time. Got to meet him once. He was very humble, very, very nice guy. Soft-spoken, very quiet. You wouldn't think so, but he was a very quiet, just very polite gentleman. Really enjoyed meeting him. Like his music. I'm not a big blues guy, but Buddy Guy, man, the guy can play. You got to give him the props for that. But 88, still doing it, still touring every year out there, showing people that you can still make it happen. So hats off to Buddy Guy. Love that. Lucille, yes, Lucille Stinger. Lucille. I was a seal. Okay. Well, it's better than the mascot. Now, if you really want to know a good mascot story, Google Boomer. Okay? Boomer from the Blue Jackets. Okay, this has to be, it's sort of like Nova, and the Nova was a car that was introduced back in the 70s, I think, and it didn't sell in Italy, and no one could figure out why, because in Italian, Nova meant no go. Adidas or Nike tried to sell a sneaker, a woman's sneaker called the Incubus. Okay, that's a demon that sleeps with women unwillingly. And not a good call. You didn't check it out. But Boomer. Check out the Boomer mascot. Very short-lived for the Columbus Blue Jackets. If you don't know about it, it's worth the read. It's quite interesting. Because, see, I guess I could do this. I just don't, I think it's weird if I'm not looking at you and talking to you. But the Boomer mascot was, in fact, this, it was a cannon, because they're a cannon. They're the Blue Jackets. But this one didn't look so much like a cannon. It did. It maybe looked like an old guy in a wheelchair, or let's see, CBJ, not Boomer from the Indiana Pacers. This guy, okay? This guy, I will bring it up. This guy right here, Boomer. So this was the mascot. And at one point, he would shoot he would shoot T-shirts out of the canon. So it just didn't work. It just didn't work, okay? It didn't work. But it's worth a read if you want to check it out. It's kind of funny. The animated version is much worse. Yes, it's correct. It is much worse. The canon mascot, yes, Solar, the canon mascot. The animated version, it's just... And now, here's the thing that's so funny, though, okay? Now, realize that this is a corporation. This is a National Hockey League franchise. One person didn't make this decision. One dude didn't say, hey, let's make a canon mascot. And it happened. Okay, this had to go to committees, and it had to go to groups and people, and everybody went, yes, 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 yes. Because some boss was like, isn't this thing great? It's going to be awesome. And they're like, yes, yes, yes. Until it became public, and everyone was like, oh, dude, it looks like a boop, shooting boop. I mean, it didn't last long. So that's the logic behind that yes attitude. Don't get it. So if you see something, say something. It's okay to say no, because sometimes no is necessary, or otherwise you end up with, I don't know, a phallic mascot. I want to talk a little bit about theft. I will not be listening to music in the one remaining radio station truck any longer because someone broke into it and stole the stereo out of it. The wires are ripped out. They're dangling out of the dashboard. The speakers are ripped out. The wires are dangling down. And I just, besides the window being broken, that stinks. I have like cam locks on the door, so you can't exactly get in and out easily. But the stereo, isn't that thing from like the 70s where people stole stereos because everyone had a stereo? They're all, built in. They're part of the vehicle these days. I don't know there's a resale for them. I'm not sure. I've done everything to make it preventable to not get the stereo stolen, and still it got stolen. I don't understand how that works. Many things over the years got stolen from the radio station. Don't get me wrong. And we tried very hard to put things in place to not get things stolen. I mean, there was literal policy around theft, not by us, but by the public, because people would steal stuff without even considering it, without even thinking it would get stolen. So here's a perfect example. So when we do any event, we're going to do a live remote at a concert. Perfect example, okay? We're going to have a tent, we're going to have a table, we're going to have speakers, we're going to have sound system, live DJ equipment, microphones, neon sign, on-air sign, banners, whatever, okay? There's going to be a DJ. Typically, their job was to show up, do their DJing, and leave. There wasn't a whole lot of effort, them lifting stuff, moving stuff, or lugging it. That fell into the promotions world, okay? Promotions department, marketing helped, and then interns, part-times, non-paid interns, college kids that were learning, they wanted to get into industry. That was sort of the standard fare for any kind of a broadcast. Now, 4 people go to live broadcast. Remote is 200 feet away, 500 feet away, 100 yards away, doesn't matter. One person was to stay with the truck if things are being loaded in and out, because you don't want to leave the truck door wide open. And one person is to stay with the remote. The other 2 can move back and forth loading equipment from one to the other, either bringing it to the event or breaking it down from the event. Now, the method to this madness was because that way nothing would get stolen. Okay? This was policy. Do it this way every time. Now, of course, well, why are we doing this? Man, we could do it so much faster if all 4 of us did it. Well, that's what happened. All 4 of them decided to do it. But when they came back a huge, and I mean huge, this thing's the size of a suitcase, about this big around, okay, oval, about this tall, about this thick neon sign. Cost $1,000. Was gone. Just gone. Someone walked away with it at a show, and they were like, what? How did this happen? Because you weren't watching it. Now, the funny story about the neon sign, why I brought that specific thing up, is this. So a friend of mine, this is years later, 3, 4, 5 years later, at least 5 years, says to me, hey, I saw a giant 101 neon sign in somebody's garage. I'm like, what? Yeah, I was driving by and there was this giant neon sign in this dude's garage. Now, I'm like, wait a second. Tell me where. Oh, I got the address, so forth and so on. I'm like, okay. So now I'm not exactly sure what to do. How do you go about getting retrieval of this thing so you don't knock their door and say, well, I don't know what you're talking about, and then they hide it or whatever. So at the time, I had a couple of friends that were police officers that I used for special duty. Now, special duty is when you would hire a police officer, pay them an unreasonable amount of money per hour, $50, $60 an hour, to be there. If we're counting money, protecting assets, whatever, at a show, at a tailgate party, just sometimes you need them. So, but I had a list of officers that I used all the time. So I called one of my friends who was that officer and I said, hey, and I explained the story of the neon sign. So he literally went to the house in uniform and knocked on the door. Sort of ex parte, like. Now, I sat back and kind of like watched from the distance because I wanted to witness this whole thing. Knocks on the door, dude opens the door. Lo and behold, he's like, hi. So now realize he's a very intimidating individual. He's not small. He's probably 300 pounds, 6'5", just an imposing figure to say the least, okay? Hi. So, the neon sign from the radio station you have in your garage, I'd like you to get that and bring it to me. That's exactly what he said. Doesn't ask, just says, the neon sign you have in the garage, I'd like you to get and bring to me. The dude stands there for a second, kind of looks at him. She kind of looks back at him, nods his head and goes, the garage? The guy, not missing a beat, kind of backs up, closes the door. About 30 seconds later, the garage door slides right up. He walks it out, puts it right down, and my friend says to him, you won't be seeing me again. Have a nice day. Picks it up, puts it in the cruiser, and drives away. Now that is service. And I have the neon to this day. And it's still a 101 neon because the other one I got changed to a 1025 neon when we changed from 101 to 102, but not this one. So it's still sitting there as a 101 neon. But the reason, again, is that we had things in place so that things would not get stolen. Banners, for instance. Banners were not super cheap. We could buy them by the roll. They'd come in a giant roll, and they would all be these long 4-foot plastic things that we would just take a scissor, slice them up, and you could zip tie them up and leave them. Let them get stolen. I want them to be at your house. I want them to be marketing materials. They cost me $1, $2, $3. I don't care. But then we had the vinyl banners that were really nice. $75, $100 a pop. Grommets, heavy-duty vinyl, 3-folded, custom-made. Again, those stolen because if you didn't watch them, you went to a show, we would take 3 to Promo West, we'd take it to the Newport, take it to Nationwide, whatever. We had specific locations we had to put them up at. So we knew specifically the length of them, the distance that they were. If we took a metal grommet or we took zip ties so we could tie it up, we had permission to bring, cutters with us so that we could actually cut the zip ties at the end of the night. I don't know why I had those sitting there. I just remembered walking past them, so they were a great prop at the moment. But again, the rule was that you stayed to the show. if you put the banners up and you had to watch them, because literally you could be sitting there watching the show, looking at the banner, and someone would be like, zip, rip it and go. And you'd have to either chase them down, or you'd be like, I lost a banner. What do you mean you lost a banner? How do you lose a banner? It's 6 feet long. It's 3 feet wide. This isn't like, a pack of matches that you just slip in your pocket. Even if someone rolls this thing up, it's, this long thing. You can fold it, but it's bulky. So we have to make sure that there's also vehicles. Now, many years ago, we used to have the ice cream truck. And unbeknownst to most everybody, pretty much the door lock, any key would unlock the door. You just any key, if you put it in there, it would open the door. And then the ignition was kind of the same way. It was from the 80s. It was a 1982 Chevy Step van. It had seen its days. Lots of people drove it. It was a communal vehicle, let's put it that way. So it wasn't cared for by one individual person. I did a lot of maintenance on it, but it was not really something that anybody else that drove it really gave a crap about, to be honest. They just drove it. It was what they had to do. It was their job. They were the ice cream person, or they were going to a promotion or whatever. One day, we are down sitting having lunch. Drove the truck down. I didn't drive the truck. One of the part-time people drove the truck. And we're sitting there having lunch, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking out the window, and they're sitting across from me. And I said to him, hey, so where'd you park the truck? Oh, I parked it around the back over out of the view so no one could see it. I said, oh, okay, so no one could see it, huh? I was like, perfect. He said, can you explain to me why it's driving by right now? And sure as I am standing here speaking to you, the ice cream truck drove by High Street. And I'm like, you don't know who's driving it, do you? He's like, oh my God, like runs out the door like he's going to catch a moving vehicle. So I just sat there and I was like, okay, well, obviously it has to be someone we know, because really, you're not going to get very far in a giant ice cream truck that has a radio station logo on the side of it, unless you're going to drive it off a cliff somewhere because that's your objective, because you hate us or something. I don't know. But literally, someone stole the ice cream truck as it drove down the street. Now, we did find out later it was a friend of mine who thought it was funny, haha, practical joke, and it was, because I was just like, what are we going to do about it? What exactly can you do about someone stealing a promotional ice cream truck with a giant radio station branded on the side of it? I don't know. But it sort of goes back to that, again, we had to pay attention to everything all the time. Even when we were in the building. We had laptops stolen. There was an incident one time where a gentleman came into the receptionist wasn't there, and caught him trying to steal the laptop at the front desk. Now, this guy was brilliant, okay? Brilliant. Because the minute we got there, he's like, hey, what are you doing, man? I'm just, I was just looking for the, is there a Subway around here? I was just looking for, Subway was next door. So I was like, no, man, you got to go. What are you doing? What are you trying to steal this time? He said, no, man, I'm just looking for the Subway. Right. So kept an eye on him, watched him, turns the corner, sober, right up, super straight. I walk outside, I'm like, hey, man. He's like, what? I was like, wow, nice act. But again, because if we weren't watching, someone would snag stuff all the time. All the time. We did lose a computer. Someone grabbed a computer once, gone. VHS camera, gone. What else? We lost microphones all the time to bands, cabling, anything else, all those things. But we also got cables all the time and things. But we had to be very, very, aware of these things. Theft was a huge part of it. And it's usually a crime of opportunity. People leaving their car with keys in it, for instance. So one day, sales guy, it was maybe there a few weeks, early morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, we can see the camera. we look at the camera and there's a kid. And I mean a kid. Okay, 8, 9, 10 years old, rifling through the cars in the parking lot, the ones that are people left unlocked. Now he finds in the salesperson's car, apparently, a key. Why you leave a key to your car in your car is beyond me. I have no idea why you would ever think to do that. But he apparently finds the key and leaves, skips away. Do, 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 do. About 10 minutes later, he comes back, gets in the car, starts the car, and I'm telling you, this big, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10-year-old kid, starts the car, clearly doesn't know how to drive the car, loops around the parking lot, and then proceeds to drive off the parking lot. Our parking lot has about a 4-foot drop that's grass. So parking lot, big grassy hill, street. Vroom, over the grass, wrecks the car. It's all on camera. We're watching this. I'm like, what the hell? Drives down the street, makes about a block or two, wrecks the car and abandons it. The car's also crashed because the oil pan took a huge hit when it hit the curb going off this 4-foot embankment. Again, crime of opportunity because someone left it there. One of the weirdest thefts ever, though. Weirdest thefts ever. And this one, to this day, don't understand it, blows my mind. So, we received for Christmas or a holiday this tin of cookies. Big tin, okay? Like yo big. Okay? Like 3 layers thick of the sugar cookies with chocolate on it and stripes and fudge cookies and all this stuff. And it's a communal cookies that we get as a gift from someone, accountant, CPA, lawyer, record rep, somebody. Now it's downstairs sitting on the bar. Now, grab a cookie, blah, blah, blah. I go back and the box is missing. This is not small now. This is a tin, at least this big and this deep, like layers, 3 or 4 layers of cookies. And maybe 1 layer has been eaten because people have been enjoying and snacking on it. But the entire tin is missing. This is in our office, in the main part of the office, right outside from the DJ booth. It's where we're all working, but this thing's gone. Now, I have cameras, and I have cameras everywhere. Every single room of the radio station had a camera in it. Okay? Common areas, the bar, the hallways, the front door, the back door, the kitchen, the hallway, the stairs up, the stairs down, you name it. There was, I think, 16 cameras just in the building alone, not to mention like another 8 outside, because you never know. You need to be careful. So I'm curious as to what the hell, okay? This is like, I have no idea. Like, how is this possible? It's in our office. So I roll it back. Oh, there's the box. Okay, now the box is missing. Okay, so. And there it is. It's a staff member. Okay. So now I need to know this. So I look at the other cameras. I've got a timestamp now so I can look at it and I follow from where they came from, where they get the box, where they leave. So the box is gone. They put it in their car and they drive away. Now, again, I'm literally dumbfounded. So I've included a couple other people into this conversation. Like, hey, did you see? Do you know why? Do you understand? Can you help me think about the conversation then occurs with this person? Hey, saw that you did you grab the cookies? No, why? No, okay. Can I rephrase this? I saw that you grabbed the cookies. Why? What did you do with those? Silence. I'm caught. I'm busted. I have no answer. I took him for a client. This is a half-eaten box of cookies, okay? This isn't like wrapped pristine that was a present. This was a station. It's people, rubbing it through the little white papers in the bottom where you take your cookie out. You leave the paper for the next person and be like, oh, crap. What client? What are you talking about? The following conversation ensued to the point where I then had to find this person, follow this person, because I was still completely flabbergasted as to what the motive behind this removal was. I never figured out why the cookies went, but that was that person's last day, because they literally had a meltdown like 3 hours later. Because I was like, well, where are you at? Oh, I'm at this client. I'm watching them. They're not at this client. They're literally lying and making up this story about this. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm across the parking lot, literally surveying them like, oh, okay, so when are you going to be back? Oh, I've got to go this. Not even close. So then later confronted them like, hey, so you said you were here. You weren't because you were here. I watched you. What do you mean? With my own eyes, I saw you. I followed you because I was like, what do you mean? Blah, blah. So that was literally the end of this person's employment, was that day, because of stealing a box of cookies from the station for no reason whatsoever that I can still to this day grasp as to why and what purpose that served. So the point of this story was that, yes, the radio station's truck got broken into and someone stole the radio out of it, because it wasn't just, it's not a radio that comes with your new car that's built in, that this is a removable like Kenwood, because the truck was old. We had to have it put in by Columbus Car Audio, who did a great job. The sound was awesome, so loud you could lose your hearing, inside or outside. Now there is no more. There's dangling wires. And I probably will not replace it because it would be expensive to do that. And I don't really drive the truck on the regular basis anymore that I need to have music in it. So I'll probably just wind up putting in my cell phone and playing something of that nature. But that to me, again, is still odd as to why someone would steal a radio. I didn't know there was an aftermarket for radios still. I'm sure if I go to the pawn shop, I could go find it. There's many pawn shops throughout Columbus in the downtown area. And I have shopped at pawn shops many times. One of the things that I found that was great at the pawn shops was guitars. People would pawn guitars and I could get them for a reasonable price, especially ones I would use to get autographed for artists when they would come in, or artists that I would hang on the wall of the radio station, or things that we'd be able to give away as prizes or for other things, because you could get really nice guitars for $90, whatever. My best story was going into a pawn shop 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before they closed on a Sunday. I needed a bunch. I wanted to get a lot of guitars. I figured I wanted to get about 10. So I walked in there with just a few minutes left, and I kind of looked at guitars, like 120, 200, 170, 100, blah, 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 blah. So I told the guy, how's business today? A little slow? I'll make you a deal. You want to make $1,000? He was like, what? I said, 10 guitars. I walk out the door in 5 minutes, $1,000. I got 10 guitars for $1,000. Because again, they want to haggle. You have to create your own unfair advantage sometimes. So that was that. That was what I did, created the unfair advantage of doing that. Now, the good deed of the day I did today, I helped somebody load their stuff at Lowe's. Because what I found is when I went to Lowe's, and I'm going to call them out by name, normally I go to Silver Drive. I go there all the time, almost every day. I went to the one at Easton today because I had to go return a pallet from ice. I got a ton of ice. And when I say a ton of ice, I don't mean, a lot. I mean a ton. Literally 2,000 pounds of ice. So I got it at Costco. I returned the pallet. So I went to the Lowe's at Easton. First, that was my mistake of going to Lowe's at Easton. I think that they're just waiting for the AI revolution to occur because nothing was stocked. Everything was just laying out in the aisleways. Customer service did not exist. When I asked someone, do you know where this is? I don't know if we had that. I'm like, yes, you do. I bought this product yesterday at the Silver Drive one. You're all the same. Just, I don't know where it's at. This store's a different configuration. I don't know. And then just walked away. Didn't like pull up the phone or anything. Just stumbled away. I'm like, okay. Now I needed to get a bunch of stuff. I had the truck with me. Hence I noticed the stolen stereo. When I got there, I was like, okay, I need like 20 bags of mulch. So I'm going to get in the truck. I went, got the numbers. Okay. And I needed a bunch of paver stones, like 30 of them. So I got those numbers and I went and when I paid for everything, my checkout was like $770. Yeah, I spent some money at Lowe's. That's what I do because I'm fixing stuff. I'm building things. It's somebody else's house. But okay, so I go to the client checkout, the pro desk. The lady's very nice. Can you leave my stuff here because I'm going to go get my truck? Sure, I'll get it. And I'll call a loader down at Lawn and Garden for you so you can get the pavers and your mulch. I'm like, well, thanks so much. That was so nice of you. So I get the truck. I come back. I load all my stuff in it. I go down to Home and Garden and, okay, I'm just waiting for, there's no loaders here. I'm like, excuse me? We only do it on the weekend. I'm like, well, the lady just called. I have like 30 bags of mulch and 30 paver stones to get. Well, you just have to get them in a cart and bring them out. I'm like, okay, can someone open the gate at least? Because there's one of these like metal gates. It's right there where, even if it's not going to be outside, because I don't know, everything I need is outside. I can literally see it. I can just pull the truck up right next to it and load it. So, but, well, can you open at least the gate? I can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? You can't or you won't do that? We don't do that. That's only open on the weekends. Okay. I'm like, I don't want to be carrying here, but could you get a supervisor for me and maybe ask somebody else? I'm just asking for a little consideration to open the gate. I don't need you to load it, but it will save me the fact that I'll have to go from one end of the department all the way out to the truck as opposed to, I don't know, 10 feet. I can just go out this gate that's right there where I can pull up to. We can't do that. Again, you can't or you won't. They didn't. So I had to, in fact, load up everything into a giant flatbed because we can just use one of the carts. I'm like, no, I can't. I was like, these little plastic carts will not handle what I need to get. So I had to go all the way to the end of the store, and I had to get one of those large, big metal flatbed trailers that they have for, the cement at the other end of the store, and then load it up. And of course, the aisle in the garden centers is about this wide, and my stuff's like this wide. So I had to maneuver around and get out the door. And when I get to the front door, the lady didn't even look at me. I walked right past her, just dragging this giant, did not even look if I said I had a receipt. Didn't even, just. So I could have easily stolen all that. I could have been the thief. I could have easily stolen that. She never asked for a receipt, never asked to even see what I checked out. But I had not. I did, in fact, pay for it, and I did have the receipt. So it's just, to me, I find that theft, it's typically a crime of opportunity. So be aware of your surroundings when you're at places. If you leave things in your car, normally they're going to get stolen if they're there and readily available. Someone sees a laptop, yeah, they're going to break your window because it's a crime of opportunity. If that is what you do, then expect that to possibly occur. But I just find it very interesting that theft is one of those things that is so insidious. It can take away your sense of trust in society and other people. At the same time, though, you could easily be that thief unwittingly by just grabbing a bunch of stuff from Lowe's and walking out the door. but I didn't. Just find it to be very interesting, the commentaries on theft. Anyway, yes, National People Suck Day. Well, I think that was the other day. Today is just National Fudge Day. As I said, I had my caramel. I did have fudge today. I went and had some at Tasty Dog. Mark was nice enough to give me some ice cream, even though they were closed today, because they had a very big weekend with Pride, and they had a hot dog run with 300 participants. I like to support locals, so I go into this local hot dog joint and spend $10 for a hot dog, even though I have 3 upstairs that I had for dinner tonight, since there was no hot dogs today, and I was in a hot dog mood. But today is Fudge Day and Randsanity Day. I'm just going to proclaim that. Anytime I find a day that has one thing on it, it's going to be Randsanity Day. And one of them is going to stick. I'm going to find who I have to bribe to make that happen. Heinz Verified, please like and subscribe. Go see Day Trippin'. Episode 4 should be this Thursday. We want more Randy, so promote more Randy. More Randy, more Randy, more Randsanity. And feed me, for the love of God. Look at this. I'm wasting away. Can you see this? Can you see this? Well, whoops. Apparently that camera turned off. See, that camera just turns off. I've got to lean into it and kind of push the little button over here. Now it works. See? Look at this. I'm just wasting away. Not really. But it's nice that, you know, I can be skinny, fit. Tomorrow's National Mascot Day, so go out and hug a mascot or throw something at them, or I don't know, what do you just worship them? Oh, mascot. Not an idol worship guy. Cherry Tart Day. I'm not sure what a cherry tart is. I think I know, but I'm not really sure. But Apple Strudel Day, absolutely know what apple strudel is. I will definitely find apple strudel, and I will have that tomorrow. Eat Your Vegetables Day. Yeah, I can eat vegetables. I'm good with that. Just not the Brussels sprouts. You know, that works. And National Root Beer Day. Also, Iceland Independence Day. And Desertification. God, I'm not going to be able to do that. Desertification and Drought Day. Damn it. I feel like I fell again. Did I tell you I fell? I stepped on my own foot and fell sideways. I mean, I fell this winter because I slipped on an icy patch, and that was fun. I really hurt because it was like, whoop. But this was just this slow motion, like up. I'm just on the ground. Not sure what happened with that one, so. Mascots, boomer. Bad idea. If you work for somebody, feel free to say no. Don't let bad ideas become public embarrassments. I just want to know the inner workings of some people's minds when they just agree to something that they clearly know is going to fail. What can I say? All right. I almost said so. Caught myself. See, I'm trying to get rid of that. It's a crutch. I found that when I was watching the videos for Bonnaroo that you guys didn't get to hear. If you really want to hear them, I can play them because I did find it, and I believe I have the audio working properly. So let's see. This is Bonnaroo. This is the adventure of Bonnaroo from 2019, going with some dudes I never met in a Winnebago that, well, clearly there was a problem with everything that happened going there and back with these guys. The trip was great. This was a little bit strange. Damn it. Crap. Still no audio. Okay, well, I'm not sure what the hell to do then. I'm just going to we'll forego that one if there's no audio. I'll have to try and figure out what the problem is. It should be hooked up properly. It's got the output. You could see it. You just can't hear it. I don't know why. It wasn't on mute or anything, I don't believe. It's got the little icon-y thing. It says that. I don't know. Damn it, technology. I'll work on it. Try jiggling the handle. Exactly. I don't know what handle to jiggle on this one, Solar, so my apologies. All right. It's been a fun adventure, as always. I appreciate you for being here. Please remember, like this video. There's 9 people and 2 likes. Chop, chop, let's go. Make likes. Follow this right here. This one. Go and subscribe to this, please. Also, check out Heinz Verified. It's in the description link. Day Tripping with Stephen He and your co-star, me. The guy in the van. The guy that I'm telling you that you need to go and make comment so that there's more me in the comments so that we get to do a second season of this. Because that would be great. Then maybe I won't have to be working, mulching on a hot day, getting covered in dirt and sweating like you do when you have to mulch your house and your yard to make it look nice, but I have to do it for someone else. So like and subscribe. Follow the Randsanity. I'm going to try and, at some point, figure out AI. I was learning about LLMs and RAGs yesterday. Still telling you, it's going to kill us all. I appreciate you. Thank you, friends. Have a wonderful Monday night. I'll be here again tomorrow at 11 p.m. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to work this Friday night because I'm not going to be here in my little basement studio. My little 7-foot by 8-foot square of nothing but disaster. Tools and things and all my stuff surrounded me. Did you see what was new? You had to pay close attention. There was something new here. But I don't know how to do it. But we'll have to figure out Friday night. Maybe it'll be just a single camera. Maybe it'll be a phone. I don't know. I've got to figure that one out. But again, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. Have a great night, Randy's. Thanks, Starry Traveler. The headphones. The headphones, yes. The headphones are new. Because I did try and listen to the damn audio. But no. No, it's not working. You can't hear anything. Well, at least the microphone's working tonight. I've got the lavalier because that seems to be the one that gives the less static. I don't know. Performance issue alert. Okay, that sounds like a personal thing. That's what my computer just told me. So on that note, I'm going to depart and say thank you, and until tomorrow, fade to black.